The white lady Mama was working for worked her so hard that she always came home griping about backaches. Every night she'd have to put a red rubber bottle filled with hot water under her back. It got so bad that she finally quit. The white lady was so mad she couldn't get Mama to stay the next day. She told Mama to leave to make room for the new maid. This time we moved 2 miles up the same road. Mama had another domestic job. Now she worked from breakfast to supper and still made $5 a week. But these people didn't work Mama too hard, and she wasn't as tired as before when she came home. The people she worked for were nice to us. Mrs. Johnson was a school teacher. Mr. Johnson was a rancher who bought and sold cattle. Mr. Johnson's mother, an old lady named Miss Alla, lived with them. Our house, which was separated from the Johnsons by a field of clover, was the best two-room house we had been in yet. It was made of big new planks, and it even had a toilet. We were once again on paved streets. We just did make those paved streets, though. A few yards past the Johnsons' house was the beginning of the old road we had just moved off. We were the only blacks living in that section, which seemed like some sort of an honor. All the whites living around there were well-to-do. They ranged from school teachers to doctors and prosperous businessmen. The white family living across the street from us owned a funeral home and the only furniture store in Centerville. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl. There was another white family living about a quarter of a mile in back of the Johnsons who also had a boy and a girl. The 2 white girls were about my age and the boys a bit younger. They often rode their bikes or skated down the little hill just in front of our house. Adeline Jr. and I would sit and watch them. How we wished Mama could buy us a bike or even a pair of skates to share. There was a wide trench running from the street alongside our house. It separated our house and the Johnsons' place from a big 2-story house up on the hill. A big pecan tree grew on our side of the trench, and we made our playhouse under it so we could sit in the trench and watch those white children without their knowing we were actually sitting out there staring at them. Our playhouse consisted of 2 apple crates and a tin can that we sat on. One day when the white children were riding up and down the street on their bikes, we were sitting on the apple crates making Indian noises and beating the tin can with sticks. We sounded so much like Indians that they came over to ask if that's what we were. That was the beginning of our friendship. We taught them how to make sounds and dance like Indians, and they showed us how to ride their bikes and skate. Actually, I was the only one who learned. Adeline and Junior were too small and too scared, although they got a kick out of watching us. I was 7, Adeline 5, and Junior 3, and this was the first time we had ever had other children to play with. Sometimes they would take us over to their playhouse. Katie and Bill, the children of the whites that owned the furniture store, had a model playhouse at the side of their parents' house. That little house was just like the big house, painted snow white on the outside with real furniture in it. I envied their playhouse more than I did their bikes and skates. Here they were, playing in a house that was nicer than any house I could have dreamed of living in. They had all this to offer me, and I had nothing to offer them but the field of clover in the summer and the apple crates under the pecan tree. The Christmas after we moved there, I thought for sure Mama would get us some skates, but she didn't. We didn't get anything but a couple of apples and oranges. I cried for a week for those skates, I remember. Every Saturday evening, Mama would take us to the movies. The blacks sat upstairs in the balcony, and the whites sat downstairs. One Saturday, we arrived at the movies at the same time as the white children. When we saw each other, we ran and met. Katie walked straight into the downstairs lobby, and Adeline, Junior, and I followed. Mama was talking to one of the white women and didn't notice that we had walked into the white lobby. I think Mama thought we were at the side entrance we had always used, which led to the balcony, but we were standing in the white lobby with our friends when Mama came in and saw us. Come on, she yelled, pushing us out into the door. I told you about running up into those stores and things like you own them. She dragged us through the door, and when we got outside, we couldn't help but stand there crying, and we could hear the white children crying inside the white lobby. After that, Mama didn't even let us stay at the movies. She carried us right home. All the way back to our house, Mama kept telling us that we couldn't sit downstairs. We couldn't do this or that with white children. Up until that time, I had never really thought about it. After all, we were all playing together. I knew that they were going to separate schools and all, but I never really knew why. After the movie incident, the white children stopped playing in front of our house. For about 2 weeks, we didn't see them at all. Then one day, they were there again, and we started playing, but things were not the same. I had never really thought about them as white before. Now, all of a sudden, they were white, and their whiteness made them better than me. I now realized that not only were they better than me because they were white, but everything they owned and everything connected with them was better than what was available to me. I hadn't realized before that downstairs in the movies was any better than upstairs, but now I saw that it was. Their whiteness provided them with a pass to downstairs in that nice section, and my blackness sent me to the balcony. Now that I was thinking about it, their schools, homes, and streets were better than mine. They had a large red brick school with nice sidewalks connecting their buildings. Their homes were large and beautiful with indoor toilets and every other convenience that I knew of at the time. Every house I had ever lived in was a 1 or 2 room shack with an outdoor toilet. It really bothered me that they had all these nice things and we had nothing. There is a secret to it besides being white, I thought. Then my mind got all wrapped up in trying to uncover that secret. That night, I thought about it again. I remembered the day I had seen my 2 uncles, Sam and Walter, and they were just as white as Katie. But Grandma Winnie was darker than Mama. So how could Sam and Walter be white? I must have been thinking about it for too long as Mama finally called out, "Essie Mae, hurry up and get out of the bath. And hurry up so Adeline and Junior can bathe before the water gets cold." "Hey, Mama," I said, "why ain't Sam and Walter white?" "'Cause they Mama ain't white," she answered. "But you say a long time ago they Daddy is white." "If the Daddy is white and the Mama is colored, then that don't make the children white." "But they got the same hair and color like Bill and Katie and them got," I said. "That still don't make them white. Now get out of that tub," she snapped. Every time I tried to talk to Mama about white people, she just got mad. Now I was more confused than before. If it wasn't the straight hair and the white skin that made you white, then what was it?